We now jump to CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. He's in Columbia, South Carolina, with more on yesterday's runoff election there. Ed, good morning to you. Before last month, Darline Graham had no experience in elected office. How then did she pull off a win last night?
Thanks to President Trump, who came down here last week and campaigned on her behalf and told folks in the northeastern part of this state, a pretty Republican area, that they needed to show up and vote as if he were on the ballot. And he also tapped into his $400 million political campaign account to spend money on her behalf as well, a sign that he is going to begin doing that for Republicans who support him and who need the assistance, the financial assistance across the country. Graham, as you mentioned, 62 years old, someone who'd worked primarily on issues affecting the blind in South Carolina before being thrust onto the national stage after the untimely death of her brother. There was some thought she wouldn't necessarily run for this job outright, but then she decided to and cleared a crowded primary field that resulted last night in her winning. She has the edge going into November.
And Ed, you spoke with Graham's Democratic rival, Annie Andrews, earlier this hour. Our Anthony Salvanto said, look, this is a race for a Republican to lose. But what did she tell you about her campaign strategy to reverse that?
She makes the argument that Democrats are making all over the country, which is that Republicans are too supportive of the Trump administration, not holding it accountable on all sorts of issues, be it the economy, be it vaccines, be it the war in Iran, and suggested that Darline Graham is not qualified for this job. Last week in a debate, she was asked whether Taiwan and the South China Sea are national security concerns, and she admitted that, unlike her brother, she's not really that into national security. When we asked her on Monday to give us a specific example of something that she would do to help address the affordability crisis, she said, I'll give you an answer when I get there. Well, she's already in the Senate. And so immediately you saw some of her critics, Republicans and Democrats, pounce on that answer as an example of the fact that she's still not yet ready to do this job. So, you know, as Anthony said, that this is the Republicans to lose. It would take an overwhelming shift in American political opinion and activity in the next 69 days for a victory to happen here, but Andrews will give it a shot.
Yeah, and we can see a world in which some of her answers to your questions may turn up in some attack ads as we get closer to the November elections. Ed O'Keefe, we really appreciate you working through some technical constraints to join us live this morning. Ed O'Keefe in South Carolina. Thank you.